Tabe has just released Arc 8 Chapter 44, and this video will be a summary of the chapter. Highly recommend you check out my Arc 8 Interlude Chapter summary. Anyways, let's begin. His muscles were moving, and his fighting spirit welled up inside of him. His soul bolstered with energy from the soles of his feet. He looked ahead at the majesty above him. "I'm doing great," Garfiel shouts. His teeth clang and he steps forwards, darting towards the Cloud Dragon. As one of the stronger members of the Emilia camp, he crossed hands with strong people, one after another. His battle with the 9 Divine Generals allowed him to realize his role as part of the Emilia camp. It was a real honor to fight with the Divine Generals. Not only that, Garfiel says it's his chance to fight a dragon. If you live in Lagunica, you know about the powerful existences of dragons, those which exist beyond human knowledge. He knew that a dragon was not measured by the logic of the human world. Emilia had 2 chances to clash with a dragon, once at the Petelguese watchtower and once at the city of Guaral, and in both cases she survived. Dragon, yes, Mezeoria and Volcanica were very strong and big, Emilia stated. She was surprised when she told Garfiel of what happened. The dragon in front of Garfiel opens its mouth. A breath of fire was released. Garfiel jumped to the side, but he was singed in the arm. Mezeoria fired several small blasts, one of them hitting Garfiel in the arm. Garfiel jumps into the house to hide. The breath hits the house, but before it's destroyed, Garfiel picks it up and he throws it at the sky. However, the house breaks apart before reaching Mezeoria. However, following that, Garfiel proceeded to throw more projectiles at Mezeoria. Mezeoria's gold eyes opened, using their claws and tails to knock away these projectiles. However, hidden among the destruction was Garfiel. Garfiel launched himself at Mezeoria, but Mezeoria spotted this surprise attack, and the dragon's claws attempted to crush Garfiel. However, Garfiel blocked each of the attacks and held the Mezeoria's claws open with his twin shields on his arms. Mezeoria too is shocked that Garfiel wasn't splattered. Garfiel, seeing this, smiles. Garfiel begins to speak, but he's hit from below by Mezeoria's tail, and he's launched in the air. Heinkel then sees Garfiel's body bounce along the floor, and he says that he's dead. But Garfiel pushes apart the rubble which he was buried under and says to not kill him off too soon. Garfiel says that he understands why Emilia said it was fluffy, referring to Mezeoria. Garfiel then stands tall and he pulls out a broken tooth. Already a new tooth was growing. Garfiel then says that he can do it. Garfiel heads back to the fight and Heinkel asks why he's doing it. After all, it's a dragon, saying it's a fool's errand to come here. Garfiel says that it's mutual. After all, is Heinkel not here, and is he still not holding a sword in his hand? Heinkel looks at his arm and sees that he's still holding his sword, which shows that he has not given up the fight. Garfiel says to Heinkel, "You asked why I came back," and then Garfiel forms a fist and thuds Heinkel's chest, sending him flying. A moment later, the dragon's breath lands where they were stood. Garfiel avoided the attack by jumping in the air. The white breath was following him, erasing the world into dust. Garfield's toes were nearly going to be hit by the flames, but he didn't rush. Garfiel curls himself in the air and then he lands on a wall. He kicks off the wall, causing the wall to collapse, and he flies towards the dragon with insane speed. Garfiel flies towards Mezeoria and punches Mezeoria in the nose, causing Mezeoria's nose to bleed, and Garfiel is launched away, laughing that he made the dragon's nose bleed. Mezeoria is furious at this humiliation, and Garfiel continues to laugh. Heinkel, watching this, thinks it's insane. Heinkel was dumbfounded, but yet in his hand he still clutched his sword. With that, the scene changed. Time flows backwards to before the battle between Garfiel and Mezeoria. Cold water was hitting his cheek as he awoke. A voice then asked if he was okay, and he sees Emilia peering at him. Subaru is of course happy that Emilia was looking at him. Tanza and Beatrice offer Subaru a hand towel to wipe his face, but then they argue about whose hand towel Subaru will use. So Subaru says that he'll use both, using one towel to wipe his left side of his face, and the other towel to wipe his right hand side of the face, and that way Tanza and Beatrice can stop bickering. Subaru knew that he needed to rest well before the battle. After all, if he randomly fell asleep at an important point, it wouldn't be good, and the Pleiades squadron would be rattled. If Subaru is asleep, the effects of Corleonis will cease to work. It also occurs if Subaru faints, so Subaru of course has to now stay awake from this point on. Subaru was headed to the royal capital with the Valachian Empire rescue team. They had stopped at a scattered camp, replaced their earth dragons, and Vincent checked the war situation. Of course, Petrache is always with them. Subaru said that as he stroked Petrache's cheek. Even with him shrunk, Petrache treated him normally. Halibel appears and compliments Petrache. Not only that, Halibel says that everyone was worried about Subaru, even people like Anastasia and Julius. Outside, the soldiers are cheering. They are being given a pep talk by Vincent. They talk about Medium being a marriage candidate, but also the fact that Vincent doesn't accept Yona as a potential marriage option. Garfiel's role in the fight was to be matched up with the dragon Mezeoria. To contain Mezeoria, Garfiel is the best bet. Halibel wonders, since he's stronger than the tiger cub, wouldn't it be better if he fought the dragon? Subaru agrees, saying that Halibel is stronger, but he says that there's other people he needs to stop. To which Halibel says that it sounds scary and he'll need to make sure he puts in the work. Especially if that these enemies are stronger than dragons. Halibel smiles and shows willingness to accept Subaru's instructions. Subaru has an idea of where their enemy is via the power of Corleonis. This was Subaru's lie to get everyone where they needed to be for the final battle. Roswell then asks, is this the best Subaru can do? And Subaru says he is sure of it. He thinks back to a promise he made with Emilia earlier this chapter, which I didn't mention by the way, about Emilia telling Subaru to not do any reckless things. And Subaru says that of course he won't do anything reckless, because that's what he needs to do for Emilia's sake. And with that, the chapter ends. So I thought this was a really good chapter. Mezeoria, of course, which is being piloted by Madeline, is getting absolutely dumpstered by Garfiel. I wouldn't be surprised if this causes Madeline to start liking Garfiel, because Garfiel is really strong and Madeline values the strong, and of course Balleroy is dead, so maybe this will be some more Garfiel action with the women.